Alright, welcome back everyone to Two Pools 2. We're gonna have another winners match here, this time from Group A. Viper and TaToH will be playing against Vietnam A, ACCM, and Say My Name. ACCM and Say My Name defeated Nilly and Jordan in a very close set in the previous round, so Viper and TaToH are looking to avenge them, whereas Viper and TaToH had a fairly easy way through Bars and Valas. But for now, let's take a look at the draft. We will have Forest Pond and Rock Slide for Gamerlegion as their home maps. Eruption and Team Acropolis will be the home maps for Vietnam. We will have Cape of Storms and the Kawasan banned by the two teams. Interesting that Gamerlegion is banning Cape of Storms because in 2.1 they love to play Cape of Storms, so I'm actually surprised a little bit about those. We will have Indians, Slavs, Turks, Gods, Burmese as the second pool of GL. I feel like that's a very strong combination of civs. Chinese, Berbers, Italians, Khmer, Lithuanians will be the civs for Gamerlegion A in their first pool. Vikings, Britons, Franks, Saracens, and Portuguese for Vietnam, and Sicilians, Incas, Celts, Byzantines, and Koreans out there. Now, the thing is that Gamerlegion is very good when it comes to, you know, preparing for maps, preparing for the civilization drafting format, which means that I expect them to have a slightly better draft over their opponent, or at least that's what I think. It's indeed interesting that we actually see Vietnam giving Indians and Slavs to the opponent, because that feels a little bit dangerous, I would say. I mean, Indians and Slavs, especially Slavs, is a very good 2v2 civ. Giving gods to the opponent also feels a little bit edgy. It's hard to say. It's very hard to say, because every civilization's performance depends on how you use it. On the other hand, I think that giving Slavs, Indians, and gods to the opponent might be a little bit too dangerous overall. So, ACCM and Say My Name versus Viper and TaToH. The winner of this set gets to the quarterfinals. The loser is going to have to play a decider game in the next Saturday. Whereas, as I said, the winner will be in to the quarterfinals. We already have one quarterfinalist, and we will have two more joining them tomorrow. Tomorrow on Sunday, the 11th of April, we'll have three sets. We'll have Brew and Sito versus Land and Heart. We will have MBL and Nikov Aftermath versus Heresy, Miguel and Dogao. And lastly, Tempo Storm, Heron Leary versus Max and Vilas Suomi. That's gonna be a blast, man. Insanely good series coming in tomorrow, I believe. So, having said that, we will now jump into game number 1. So, please welcome Gamerlegion A in warm colors. We will have TaToH as Red Chinese, and we will have his teammate Viper as Slavs in yellow. So, we will have Cavalry Civ for Viper. TaToH will be playing Archer Civ. One of the reasons why Chinese is so good as a civ is because it can kind of act as both. It's a plug-and-play civilization, so to say. Chinese will be the Archer Civ in this case, and as I said, I feel like it's a mistake to give Slavs in the second pool to your opponent, because Slavs is a very good cavalry civ. I mean, Slavs and Chinese is nothing to be sad about on Arabia by any means. Other side, Incas for ACCM in blue, and Franks for Say My Name in green. Franks is fairly straightforward, that's their pool 1 pick, but Incas shouldn't be underestimated either, because Incas are a very decent archer civ in 2v2. It's not as good as Chinese is, but it's a fairly acceptable one. But still, I think I like Gamerlegion a little bit better with civilizations, and also their overall chances of winning this one. I would say I'm gonna go with something like 80-20 in terms of percentages if I had to predict this set. Now, GL actually had some closer games against Bars and Valas, but still, this team together, the finalists of 2.1, It was a great finals, by the way. So, in 2-1, Viper and TaToH lost 4-3 to MBL and Nikov. That team was at Hera as a backup, but this time Hera will be playing for Tempo Storm, and we got a lame here for ACCM. Laming Viper, that's a dangerous thing to do, man. That's a very, very dangerous thing to do, but maybe they feel like they need sort of a competitive edge, and that's not necessarily going to be yielded by an elephant that walks back. This eagle is now very, very low in HP, and you see the yellow ping from Viper. He knows exactly there is a lame coming in. Where is Viper's scout at? He's going to try and intercept that eagle, and oh no, ACCM. That's a disaster. He lost all the HP on his scout, which means he can't even push deer now because Viper's scout would just kill that eagle. And he failed to lame that board twice. That was just a very, very underwhelming lame for him. Other side, we will have houses coming in here for TaToH. He's got a pretty decent base, but his southern part is actually a little bit too open. ACCM will go for some early walls on the left side of his base. For now, Viper will bring in the second elephant. He wasn't delayed by any means, and it seemed like Viper already pushed in all of his deer as well. So that means that Viper's early food eco is actually very, very good. So, 3 villagers on wood for Say My Name, no surprise about that. Whereas on the other side, we will have 4 villagers on wood for ACCM, so fairly standard builds for both sides. 4 on wood with Incas means that we're going to see a standard archers build here. They don't want to villager rush whatsoever. So, second boars are in for everybody. And that gives us a chance to take a look at the base of Viper, which is acceptable but not amazing. This gold mine is like border case. It is challenging to wall this one, but not impossible by any means. You will have a fairly decent base for Say My Name, while the primary gold is a little bit disappointing unless you wall all the way out here. ACCM's base is acceptable, but you're gonna have to build your ranges in here to make sure that this gold mine is actually going to be safe. So, we could see TaToH pushing in, I think, 2 of his deers. We already had Viper pushing in all of his. ACCM actually is still healing his scout, and that means that he didn't really push in a lot. He only pushed in 1 ostrich. And lastly, we have no deer push for Say My Name. Say My Name was just thoroughly scouting the opponent's base here. He didn't really bother pushing in any deer for himself. We will have Loom coming in at the same time for ACCM and Say My Name. It is actually very late feudal age for Say My Name, I'm just noticing. I am just noticing. Wait a second, Viper didn't push any? I think Viper did push deer. Didn't he have deer at the back? He had his scout all the way around here. But indeed, there is an untouched deer patch, so in this case, Viper didn't push it. The reason why I assumed he pushed deer is because his scout, when he saw the lane, was coming from this direction, and I thought he was pushing deer from this place. But in that case, Viper didn't push in any deer. Well, I don't think that he necessarily needs it with slabs, although 1 or 2 deer can definitely help. It looks like Say My Name is gonna go for a bit of a walling. TaToH is the only player not clicking up, and it looks like... What is TaToH up to? It's now 24 villagers with Chinese, and he's queuing up more. Is TaToH going for Naked FC here? It kind of feels like it. Because this is not a Drush FC. Oh, there is a Drush. Okay. In that case, it's a Drush FC. With a Drush FC, I'm much happier about that than like a Naked FC. A Naked FC would have been very, very ballsy here. A Drush FC should be doable for TaToH, although his base is not necessarily ideal for that. But here he comes, and he's going to start pushing the villagers of Say My Name in here. We will have Say My Name getting the barracks denied, and that's a disaster. This is an absolute disaster. Because if you delete this, you lose like 80% of the wood. If you don't delete it, you will never have a stable. Say My Name is gonna have to pull like 5 villagers and make sure that that stable goes, or that barracks goes up. Because without that, he won't actually be able to get that stable up. He needs to rush this up. After that, he's good to go back home and just drop the stable back at home, but it looks like he might fight this. Viper already in feudal age, which means that he's got the extra attack on those scouts, and that is already 1 villager death from Say My Name, not necessarily ideal for our green player. He already went for a 21 or 22 pop feudal, I believe. Yeah, this was a 22 pop feudal, a very, very late one for Franks. And if you combine it to the fact that he already lost 1 villager, TaToH is completely untouched. He's far away from our blue player who could hit him with archers. as TaToH is coming in to snipe another Voyager that will not occur. Still, TaToH is doing all the harassment over here, and that's the perfect value that you can get for Viper and Tati over here. So we'll be having 2 Voyagers being added to gold here for TaToH. Chinese bonus helps quite a bit with the Drush FC because you are much happier dropping farms than in the case of other civs that do not have horse color. And that's the other thing. Look at Viper. He's intercepting straggler archers, which is so good. I feel like GL seems like they are playing against a completely random team here because they make it look so easy. But this Vietnamese team is strong, but Viper and TaToH make it look so easy right now. At this point, ACCM and Say My Name both lost 1 Villagers, but Viper picked off basically all the archers moving forward. ACCM has 2 Spearmen coming forward. TaToH is gonna have the cleanest Drush FC in the history of Drush FCs. He's gonna be nowhere close to being pushed, and oh, disaster strikes. Wait. That lumber camp apparently is blocking the entrance, so that's a little bit lucky there for Say My Name, but at this point, Viper and TaToH just seem to outclass their opponents very heavily. Viper apparently is not able to wall off his gold very convincing on the left, so he's gonna go for a defensive tower, just to make sure he can actually jump on it, but look at that. Viper is here on the Hunters. Losing all the food that the Hunters carry also hurt. Another Voyager goes down from Say My Name. Here come the militias that will be traded off to the scout of Say My Name. Another Voyager goes down. And this is looking like an absolute massacre right now, I'm not going to lie. It's 60 Villagers against 55, and TaToH is going to click into Castle Age, completely untouched double-range crossbow play. Because this is looking extremely good. Apparently, Gamerlegion is here to avenge their fallen teammates, as Nilly and Jordan lost 3-2 to ACCM and Say My Name, almost edging out to victory, but after sort of almost reverse sweep, Vietnam rallied and they've won the final game, resulting in a 3-2 scoreline. But it looks like Gamerlegion is here to avenge their fallen teammates and potentially push Vietnam into the decider game, which would put them, once again, into a rematch situation. So, at this point, I feel like Viper did his job, although the Blacksmith being delayed is not so great, and ACCM will actually be able to hit Viper here pretty hard. Viper loses 1 Villager, and the archers will get split by side gate easily, so Viper's Goldmine could be in trouble. Viper doesn't have any upgrades on those scouts, so I'm not sure if he can fight against 4 archers and 2 spearmen. This will delay Viper's Castle Age, but I feel like at this point, they are more than happy with this, because behind this one, TaToH is gonna have like 10 crossbows in a moment. So we are gonna have about, as I said, about 10 crossbows for TaToH. That seems legitimate. Viper is forced off from gold for a moment, but he's just waiting and waiting. He might be waiting for bloodlines because he doesn't have a blacksmith to get like scale barding or attack upgrades. So he'll probably wait for bloodlines so he can actually take this fight against the archers, or just completely ignore this. And it looks like he will try to pick off Say My Name scouts. This is actually smart. It looks like Gamerlegion is playing this one safer, not super aggressive. Instead of Viper fighting against these archers and, you know, TaToH pushing Say My Name, what they do is TaToH is gonna go for the crossbows. Fletching is a little late for him, but he's still going to have crossbows in a moment, although those archers are a little bit too early to combat, but still, this should be a cleanup from Gamerlegion now, and neither of the players from Vietnam is actually in Castle Age, and picking off 4 archers like that will also be a pretty decent advantage. So, now more archers are coming in for ACCM, but TaToH is gonna have Botkin in a moment. So, let's take a look at this fight. This is a little bit underwhelming for TaToH. He didn't expect more archers to come in this way, and he's going to lose a couple of crossbows, slowing this one down. Still, at this point, TaToH is going to have more crossbows incoming, 7 crossbows right now for him. ACCM is not up to Castle Age, but Say My Name is. Viper will click up right now, as the scouts from Viper are doing their best to lower the amount of archers the ACCM has. ACCM is still at 8 archers, whereas TaToH is at 7 crossbows, but now this is the time where the crossbows will start kicking in, and suddenly this could be very troublesome for our Vietnamese team. We are going to have a university for TaToH which means that we will have ballistics when he can afford it. He's a little low on gold and wood, especially gold count is very low for ballistics. So that university might have been a little too early because he can't afford ballistics right away. But still, he will be able to destroy the army of ACCM, and that's what matters. ACCM is down to 6 archers, he's on the way to Castle Age. Viper also on the way to Castle. Will go for a market and might buy some stone for an additional town center. He didn't mine any, although he could technically send out 2 villagers to grab it for himself. Double stables now for Viper, growing for bloodlines just now, and they will be targeting the gold mine of Say My Name, who reinforced these walls with some markets and houses for the time being. TaToH adding TC number 2 now that he can afford it alongside ballistics, as we will have the crossbows having an easy way through these walls, to be honest. Those are going to be very, very easy to break through, but look at that reaction from TaToH. He doesn't have cavalry support, and he knows that he only has a couple of crossbows here, sees that Say My Name is up in Castle Age, and he won't overcommit. He knows that Say My Name with like 4 or 5 plus 2 defense knights, he can clean this one up, so he doesn't want to risk the life of those crossbows, and he will play this one a little bit more passive. So things apparently slowing down here for both teams. Gamerlegion has a very, very convincing 4 villagers lead. We'll have a 3rd TC coming in here for TaToH, but Say My Name is also going for 3 TCs immediately in this one. Whereas Viper will just go for TC number 2, but he will have the power of Slavic farming. He bought 100 stone with the market, and he will go for stone mining to make sure that he can actually have the 3rd TC. So archers now moving forward from ACCM, they don't have cavalry support, and Viper will spot them, so this could be dangerous. Although Viper is actually not having +2 defense, he goes for husbandry so he can get a good surround on those crossbows with the mobility, but I think this could be pretty decent over here for ACCM and Say My Name, although +1 defense just now coming in for Say My Name, so he also went for a very, very greedy play over here. Crossbows from ACCM marching forward, just grabbing ballistics for themselves. It's 20 crossbows against 14. 5 knights from Viper, 6 from Say My Name, but Say My Name is missing +2 defense, and he's also missing the attack upgrade that Viper already has, so Viper's knights are actually better. So more knights are on the way from Say My Name, +2 defense coming in as well. Viper will now jump on the ranges of ACCM, who goes for a fast stumbling. One of the reasons why Incas are actually better than Aztecs in 2v2s, because at the end of the day, Aztecs do not have tumbling, Incas do, and that's a massive advantage in comparison to Aztecs. That's one of the reasons why Incas is a better 2v2 civ than Aztecs are. Incas sort of acting as a budget Mayans in this situation. So now we have +2 defense for Say My Name. Villager count is now massively in the favor of GL, though, mainly coming from the fact that GL still has 5 TCs combined, whereas only 4 for Vietnam, but that's actually a good fight. It's a very, very good fight for Vietnam. They're actually trapping Viper's knights in here, and now the knights from Say My Name could jump on top of TaToH's crossbows. TaToH doesn't have tumbling either, and he also doesn't have defense upgrades. This could be a good one for Vietnam. They are able to intercept the army of Gamerlegion. TaToH doing his best to trade off his crossbows to the opponent's crossbows here, but this was a very, very nice cleanup over here from ACCM and Say My Name. They're behind by 13 villagers, but their military advantage is actually fairly considerable now. Although, look at Viper with that micro, man, just juking and diving, absorbing some damage so TaToH can kill a couple more crossbows. TaToH is at 14 crossbows, ACCM is only at 12, so TaToH's reinforcements will help out quite a bit here. But Viper doesn't have knights on the field. And if Viper doesn't have knights on the field, then Say My Name will just jump on TaToH's crossbows, and while Viper and TaToH are booming heavily, this is the moment where ACCM and Say My Name can punish this one with better military numbers. Viper is floating a lot of food, man. He's at 800 food. Very low gold, though, for Viper. Going for stable number 3. But Viper's knight production isn't very consistent. And this is, as I said, the moment where ACM and Say My Name can start punishing this one by destroying TaToH's army. And when they actually are successful doing that, they can start pressuring food lines potentially. TaToH going for TC number 4 over here. Big, big boom from Gamerlegion. They already have a 20 villagers lead, and that villager lead is just growing and growing and growing really fast. So if ACCM and Say My Name aren't able to push Gamerlegion here, they will just get outboomed really hard. Viper is only 3 TCs, but he's got the power of Slavic farming, probably the reason why he's floating so much food, because he just doesn't have enough gold to use it all on knights. And look at this, Viper is now going for what is going to be 5 stable knights for him. Remember that Slavs have to finish this game before Paladin would kick in for Franks. That's something to point out. So Slavs won't have access to Paladin. Now Thumbring is coming in as well for TaToH. He's still missing +1 defense on those crossbows, but that's going to help a little bit even things out with Say My Names and ACCM's units here. Knights coming in for Viper. Viper now with a lot of Knights production. He's on 5 stables soon. His opponent, Say My Name, is on 3 stables only. So now Viper could outproduce his opponent in terms of Knights. And as I said, that's basically what you want to do with Franks. In 2+1 we have seen this so much. Just Slavs overrunning everything with superior amounts of Knights in Castle Age. Jumping on top of the crossbows are now the Knights of Say My Name, as Vietnam was a retreat. But if it's actually a retreat from Vietnam, that's a disaster, because they have to press on here. Gamerlegion's army is comparable to theirs, but Gamerlegion's eco is actually way better, and every retreat that ACCM and Say My Name have to do is going to help Viper and TaToH immensely, because TaToH is now on 4 TCs with Chinese. By the way, these are Slavic farms with Chinese team bonus and heavy plow. That is a very feels good man farming for Viper, even though he's got some T90 farms here. Still, 25 crossbows for TaToH, 25 for ACCM as well. TaToH seems like he's actually going to ride the power of the Chinese eco and get into Imperial as the first player. ACCM might actually be catching up soon, but his gold count isn't really looking great for that. Viper loses a couple of knights over here in this one. Viper teching to light cav, interestingly. What's up with that? Why is Viper teching into light cav? Maybe he wants to conserve some of his gold, but that's awkward. Maybe he feels like he's just unable to sustain consistent knight production in all of those stables. What is that? It's 8 stables, man. He just wants to flood scouts or light cavs, just like Khmer do. TaToH on the way to Imperial, ACCM will soon follow, but Vietnam is still behind by 20 villagers. Overall, Viper... Now, this is going to be an interesting one, though, because that's quite a lot of crossbows that could get overrun by knights. It's 24 knights against just 12. The upgrades for TaToH or Viper are +1, +2, +2, +2 coming in a moment for Say My Name. And this is the moment where Gamerlegion could be in trouble, because TaToH wants to go into Imperial, but if he loses all his armies, suddenly that doesn't matter. And it looks like most of his army is getting absolutely cleaned up here. These knights, however, should not be taking down the TC. They have to kind of go and raid, because suddenly Say My Name threw away a lot of knights. Viper with the counter raids with the light cav. Coming in, Imperial Age on the way as well for ACCM, who is also risking the life of almost his entire army here. 18 out of his 32 crossbows. TaToH loses his entire army though, and now it's going to be in the hands of Viper to flood cavalry, because TaToH lost his entire army. He's gonna be imp with absolutely no army. And if you look at the villager count, now it's only a 15 villagers lead for Viper and TaToH. Viper is still flooding knights, but the knights won't really be able to stop Arbalest from ACCM. ACCM is getting orbs rolling for him, as we finally have a cleanup here. It's 17 knights versus only 8 from Say My Name defensive castle coming in here for TaToH. TaToH once again channeling his inner doubt. And that is gonna be a castle that will be stopped momentarily. Eventually, with Viper's help, it's gonna go up, but that castle will result in 2 villagers lost here from TaToH. And it looks like TaToH will now try to go for more arbs, and that could be something to pay attention for, but he's gonna need some time until he remasses his army. He's doing a good job at it. He's back to 20 crossbows, but soon ACCM is gonna be moving out with 30 crossbows towards Viper. Viper's defensive castle is gonna be at a very nice spot, and the Viper is just flooding cavalry now. 8 knights in the queue. How many stables is that, man? It's 11 stables for Viper, and he's just flooding cavalry. He doesn't want to go into Imperial, he wants to go full all-in Castle Age here. And we will have no Imperial Age either for Say My Name, but that's the difference. Say My Name is making knights on 5 stables, whereas his opponent is flooding cavalry from 11 stables. We'll have Arbs coming in here for ACCM. Knights break through the walls here. And this is the moment where Say My Name has to do a mass migration, just like TaToH had. But the difference is that they're up against 27 knights from Viper. There is quite a lot of knights here from Say My Name to trade this one off, and Arbalasts are just now coming in. Say My Name starts to lose villagers, and remember that they're still behind by 20, so losing vills here is actually very, very concerning for Say My Name, and he's got an awful lot of idle time on him. Because of this, ACCM has a detachment of crossbows moving forward, but I feel like the problem that Vietnam is having right now is that their eco actually took more damage than Gamerlegion's eco, and Viper is clicking up to Imperial as well. Arbalest and eventually these knights will be able to clean this one up without problems, but this will delay Say My Name's imp time, and that's what matters. Because as I said, if we get to Paladins for Franks, then Slavs will struggle against that quite a bit, because they don't have Paladins on their own. But if they actually win this game before Paladin would kick in for Say My Name, which is still just a distant dream for him as he's about to click into Imperial, this is going to be a nice trap over here. I don't necessarily like that A7 Say My Name would just let that army be there. Here come some more knights from Viper. ACM is sending forward Arbs though, and Viper is losing a couple of villagers over here back at home. Not really doing an awful lot of damage, but it's still something. This is bigger though. This is a big counter raid here. Viper killing so many villas from ACCM, and ACCM is only at 95. And they already were behind an eco, and they will just keep losing villagers. This raid hitting ACCM, punching him in the stomach, stabbing him in the heart, because this was an absolutely amazing raid from Gamerlegion. And in the meanwhile, while ACCM is busy dealing with that, he's going to lose his Arbalest to the castle over here, and TaToH already with only +1 defense on those Arbs, which is somewhat underwhelming. But Viper is going to be up to Imperial, and I don't know if Say My Name has enough time to get into Imperial, because Say My Name is still 2.5 minutes away. Viper will have Cavalier pretty soon. That's a lot of cavalry coming in from Say My Name, so one thing to consider is that Viper doesn't have heavy cavalry. Viper is almost exclusively light cav. So Viper has to win this one with raiding, otherwise they will just get overrun by the Frankish heavy cavalry, and that seems like a decent cleanup over here from ACCM and Say My Name. TaToH still has an awful lot of Arbs out, and he's going to start getting siege rams in. You see that he's got the cap ram queued up alongside many rams as well. This one is idle, as another castle will be dropped in the face of the opponent. But still, I mean, Viper can always be very dangerous with light cavalry raiding, but as long as they are up against like this many Cavalier, this could be troublesome. Viper taking into Cavalier, but only 11 of them are on the field, and TaToH once again, doubt, castle confirmed. This castle isn't going up over here, and 59 Arbs versus 52, but only 13 knights against 33, even though Viper's gonna have the Cavalier upgrade faster than his opponent, but he won't have the numbers. And remember, the longer the game goes, the better it is for Franks, especially now that Vietnam is catching up in terms of economy. TaToH's castle here will be maybe even taken down by the knights, as the rams now start moving out. Siege ram not in just yet for TaToH, and that's something to consider for Say My Name. He could be losing his stables. And if he loses his stables, he will suddenly lose all his production. Defensive castle coming in. TaToH has a big blob of Arbs inside the base of Say My Name. Something that Say My Name will have to fight. He's getting +4 defense in, but 1 minute is a very long time when it comes to stopping such raids. But if he's able to intercept this army, that's nice, fine. Viper still running around with Cavalier and Light Cav raiding, trying to use the mobility advantage. A TC that may not go up here for Say My Name, and I did mention that they were actually getting back on track with villager count. That might just go away here. 85% is the TC. It is going to go up at the price of a couple of knights getting picked off. Here, TaToH holding the hill very nicely, and this is not a fight that you want to take with just +2 knights. You want to wait at least until +4, and the map control getting better and better for Gamerlegion here, inching closer and closer to victory, because now Viper is raiding ACCM here, and this is a cleanup, but it was a cleanup before Cavalier and +4 defense, and that is a huge thing. TaToH still at 56 ARB, 62 is the ARB count as well for ACCM, but the map position is what is brutal. Viper and TaToH just knocking down those buildings one by one, and Say My Name, with all those raids inside his eco, he can't afford Paladin. If he was able to get to Paladin, he would be having enough to snowball this game, I believe. Viper going for full light cav, guard towers coming in for TaToH, something that he loves to do. Viper just flooding light cav basically over here. Trade is already being set up by Gamerlegion, something that they are very proficient with. Their timing at establishing trade is extremely good. And you can see that already. ACCM and Say My Name are nowhere close to establishing trade. But it looks like ACCM is actually going to start adding halberdiers for himself, tacking into chainmail. It looks like he just doesn't have the ability to deal with all those light cavs raiding. Look at Viper, he's everywhere. He's everywhere, man. With the light cavalry, just raiding ACCM to absolute death. And ACCM has a big army, 58 orbs. But ACCM lost 73 villagers, Seaman lost 57, and that's basically a difference maker. Viper killed 85, 86 villagers in this game and lost 3. Like, Viper's cavalry raids have been absolutely stunning, and Viper pretty much distracting both players with the raids, and TaToH just brings in the death blow of Arbalest siege rams, colonizing this gold mine over here as well. Looking really good for Gamerlegion here. They already have trade being set up, everything seems to point towards Gamerlegion taking a victory in game number 1. Very, very convincing GL. And this is what I'm always saying. Just think about the outcome or the potential outcomes of this tournament. We have this tournament with Hera and Leary, a very clean Viper and TaToH. Very, very well playing Suomi. We have Aftermath, we have Miguel and Dogao, we have Mr. Yo and Lix. So many great teams here. This tournament could go anywhere, basically, for these players, but it looks like this game seems to be getting closer and closer to being decided, as ACCM is going down to 70 villagers only. And look at this, no trade being set up, towers from TaToH to secure this gold mine and wood line. TaToH is also everywhere, so even though he lost his castle here, ACCM and Say My Name called the GG, and just this steamroll, the death blob of Gamerlegion arrived on the right side with double castles from Viper, and really, the way that GL established map presence was actually one of a kind, I would say. Really, really well done. And after that, somewhat scary start for Viper, where he actually lost a couple of villagers to the archers. This was very clean for GL. GL also had a nice advantage from the beginning, picking off some villagers early on, but really, the boom was great from TaToH, the boom was great for Viper, and just look at this number. TaToH at the end lost 11 villagers but killed 63, but Viper, man. Viper. 131 villagers killed, 3 villagers lost. That is absolutely crazy. Like, the amount of raids that he has done on the opponent's eco is just absolutely hilarious. Beautifully done with the light cav. He didn't have the gold to spam Cavalier, so he decided to just go for Hussar and just raid the opponent to death, and he has done that so well. He was everywhere. And while he was raiding the opponents, TaToH just brought in the death blob of Chinese Arbs, Siege Rams, and overrun the base of Say My Name. With that, Gamerlegion takes game number 1 over here, and we will have one of the home maps for Vietnam Legends, ACCM or Say My Name, coming in here for us. Not sure which of the maps or which of the maps they will actually choose, but I would think that I don't like T-Macro or Eruption either for them, to be honest. Like, the thing is that Gamerlegion seems to be so strong on these just standard maps, and Eruption and T-Macro are both very standard. So I am unsure what Vietnam can do on these maps. I think if it is T-Macro, we will see something like Koreans and maybe Portuguese. Although Portuguese, I think Portuguese Byzantines or Portuguese Koreans might go for Forest Pond. Vikings will go for Rock Slide, which would mean that we'll have Britons for Eruption. Britons Koreans, maybe? It's worth noting that Vietnam doesn't really have good cavalry saves, so they have to do some trickeration with those to make it work, whereas G has a lot more balanced pool of civilizations. We're going to Eruption in here, and we will have an interesting save matchup. Viper and TaToH versus Vietnam A coming in right now. The winner of this set is going to get into the quarterfinals. The loser of this set will have to play in the decider game to have a chance at getting to the quarterfinals. Deciders will be next Saturday. So we will have Viper and TaToH on the left side of the map, as red Turks for TaToH and yellow Berbers for Viper. So this is going to be a setup where both players can go for archers, but I think it's going to be the Turkish archer into crossbow into cav archer play, and this will be supplemented by Berber cavalry from Viper. Sicilians for Say My Name in green, and last but not least, ACCM as Britons in blue. So Sicilians will be your cavalry civ here, which is not a bad cavalry civ by any means, but I feel like Berbers feels like a lot better cavalry civ than Sicilians is. Although on the other hand, Britons feel like a lot better archer civ compared to the Turks. Especially like early to mid game. Late game, I can see Turkish cav archers being a factor, but early to mid game, I feel like that should be an advantage. So, we are gonna have a fairly open right side here for ACCM, something that he shouldn't really worry about. Well, technically he should worry about this one, but actually he has to worry about this a lot. I thought that he has another gold here, but that's not really the case. Both of his golds are actually very, very bad overall. So it kind of seems like we will have to have some big walls here for ACCM to have any shot at protecting this gold. Man, this is not a great map for ACCM by any means. This wood line is also kind of ugly looking. It's a small wood line. It's also like diagonal. So this lumber camp will be kind of underwhelming very, very fast. On the north, we will have Say My Name as Sicilians with a fairly decent map overall. The gold mines are okay, especially this one. This one is somewhat underwhelming. And on the left side, we will have the Viper as Berbers in yellow. All the gold mine is safe for him. Safe stone as well is nice. And TaToH is going to have a very, very beautiful gold mine as well for his red color. So, as I said, with TaToH being 4 on wood, this is some sort of archer play from TaToH. Could be Droshevsky crossbows, could be straight feudal archers, which I think would be a little bit safer and probably better for an archer build because you don't stretch out your eco as much as you would in the case of like a Droshevsky or even a naked fast castle into crossbow play. So I think a straight archer play feels a little bit more legitimate for TaToH here. Viper has 3 on wood, so he's gonna play scouts here and not go for fast castle. We also have 3 on wood for Say My Name. He's also playing scouts. And last but not least, ACCM will be playing with what appears to be a Premiel Drosh here for him. Probably Premiel Drosh into a fast castle, especially with Britons here. Although fast castling on this map is always hard because you don't have deer to push in, so you have to make a lot of farms, and that's something that you want to avoid. So if you want to push in deer, you have to push it in all the way from here, which means that you have a limited amount of deer that you can push in. You just don't have time to push in 5 deer from all the way across here. So that is why, at the end of the day, fast castling is actually quite hard. Well, it's not hard, but your eco is gonna be quite weak behind that one because you'll be forced to make like 8 or 9 farms here without deer push. Viper coming in here with the walls on the front. I kind of dislike this part of the wall, but it's not really a big deal for him because at the end of the day, what you want to focus on is that you're up against the scouts player. So the only place where you could possibly have, as we have, that was close. That was very, very close, man, for ACCM. You can say it was calculated, but it's one more hit from that snow leopard and that villager is history. Behind this one, by the way, ACCM is trying to run away from TaToH's scout. TaToH does have the HP advantage. So we will have full wars for our yellow player, the Viper, in a moment. He's actually adding some farms, and it looks like he will convert this into a fast castle. He only had 3 on wood, but now decides that he will just fast castle this one, because if he wanted to just go feudal boom into castle age, then he would have clicked up by now. So it seems like this will be something like a 25-26 naked FC, whereas on the other side, our Sicilian player, we will have Say My Name in green, and he's going to be playing scouts, but what can you do with scouts here? Because that's the main question. What can you do with scouts when both of your opponents are fully evolved? You can basically do nothing, and this is one of the reasons why I don't think that scouts alone work. The only way that you can actually make scouts work is if you have archer support for them, but that means that both of your players will be playing in Feudal Age, and you could get beaten to Castle Age very, very easily. So, TaToH is still in Dark Age, so is Viper. It's double fast castles. It's a greedy play from Gamerlegion, but Gamerlegion is often... Okay, I was scared for a moment that Viper is gonna have a hole over there, but that's not the case. Still, these are just Dark Age plus side walls, and the militias are attacking down hills. Still, Viper is gonna have no trouble walling behind this one. This is the problem with just melee units alone. They will never get through walls against high-level players. ACCM coming in here with what is a Drush FC 28 villagers with Britons should be doable. I like that he's got 4 on gold. Because I think that buying food here could be a little bit more legitimate than just going for, you know, all the farms. I can see you going up with an archer range and market, buying the food that you need, and then you make a blacksmith when you can afford it with wood. Because that might still be easier than making all these farms. So you see that ACCM's food eco might not be able to support an immediate Castle Age click up with +2 villagers being added. Viper, on the other hand, goes for a stable blacksmith Castle Age. It's gonna be fairly clean from him. He already has the 2 villagers queued up, so that should be no problem. There is the stable, there's gonna be the blacksmith coming in here with this lady when Viper can afford it. So we will have TaToH still repairing that house over here. At least this villager will be idle. That's the only thing that this free militias actually accomplish. And now we'll actually see the answer if TaToH is going to go for archers or we're going to see cav archers. I think that with cav archers your eco is thrashed out a little bit less, but on the other hand you don't have any kind of army in early Castle Age. So I think it's safer to go crossbows, and you can also do a lot more damage with them. But you could go straight cav archers here, I believe, if you're TaToH. Viper already opening up his vows in here, which means that he's getting ready to start pumping out knights here. Other side, we will have ACCM playing as Britons. As I said, he's gonna go for the straight archers, no surprise about that. And TaToH is also going for crossbows. I think that's the safer way of doing things, because you know you're up against Britons, you know that he's probably Drush FCing, which means that you're going to encounter quite a lot of crossbows. Like, you have to count on 7-8 crossbows showing up in early Castle Age, and it's safer for TaToH to make a couple of archers and upgrade them to crossbow. Crossbow is not a super expensive upgrade, and then slowly transition into a cav archer play. So, for Say My Name with Sicilians, one thing that has going for him is that he's going to go up to Castle Age and he will have a good eco behind this one. So he didn't fast castle, he instead grabbed the eco upgrades for Sicilians, and Sicilian farm upgrades helping quite a bit here. And honestly, I feel like going into Feudal Age, maybe not even making any scout, just saying, okay, I'm Feudal Age, I'm going to get eco upgrades, and I click up to Castle Age. That might even be better than a fast castle into knights here, because you see that Viper is gonna have like a 2 minutes advantage, that's true, but Viper will be able to produce from one stable at best with dubious upgrades. He has got +1 defense only and bloodlines, whereas when Say My Name reaches Castle Age, he's gonna have no trouble getting a double stable production in. He's got the eco upgrades for longer, all those farms have horse color, so I feel like this is actually a better scenario for a green player compared to Viper. As things stand, TaToH is gonna have 6 archers in here against 7 archers from his opponent. Here comes Botkin arrow, but no crossbow just yet. No archers moving forward for now for ACCM. Instead, I like this. ACCM spreads out his militias on the ridge and in the pit, making sure that he can see if Viper and TaToH move out. to grab some gold in the middle and drop a TC there. Scouts seeing the archers over here. There is no crossbow upgrade coming in here for TaToH, so he doesn't want to use those resources for crossbow. I think he's just probably waiting. Okay, now he's gonna grab it. I think if you actually made this many archers, you might as well grab crossbow. Still, Britain crossbows will be much better than the Turkish crossbows will be. The real question is, when will TaToH transition to cav archers? So it looks like TaToH will be hitting the base of Say My Name, but Say My Name is up to Castle Age. As I said, he's gonna have a very strong eco behind this one. Double stable production. He prioritizes Boso and the second town center instead of +2 defense because he doesn't see the crossbowman coming his way. But now that he sees it, even though his walls are very strong here, so the crossbows won't break inside, he will be able to go for a +2 defense without problems. TaToH with fast ballistics coming in, expanding his walls all the way to the right side with stone walls. This could be big, as it looks like AC7 and Seaman both have weak scouts here, so they won't be able to kill that villager and kill the scout. What's the difference between Turkish and British crossbows in Castle Age? Range. British crossbows have 1 extra range. So now a stable goes down here for a Say My Name, and that is definitely not ideal. Losing a stable like that hurts badly, and there's still no +2 defense coming in. Crossbows now coming in though for ACCM. He is gonna have the extra range here, and the heal advantage even more importantly, but no ballistics. And that no ballistics could hurt so much against a very, very good micro player like TaToH, and I feel like this is gonna be both archer armies annihilated over here. The real question is how many knights will remain for both sides. Viper does have +1 defense bloodlines on those knights. Same thing is the story for those green knights over here. And it looks like this is actually a better fight for ACCM and Say My Name, although Viper still has a lot of yellow knights here. And one thing that you have to be careful about is Berbers overrunning you with knights. That's one of the biggest dangers on Golden Pit. Getting overrun by Berber knights, something that in 2v2 World Cup showed its power. So Viper still around the base of Say My Name with a couple of knights. For now, it looks like we're just gonna have double range production for ACCM, goes for TC number 2 and 3. Viper and TaToH are both playing 1 TC plays. This is actually very reminiscent of how Nili and Jordan played this map. They are going for a very, very aggressive play, hoping that they can secure the middle, and they will play for like a weaker eco, more military, but we have the middle type of map control. Whereas on the other side, it's going to be a very, very eco-heavy approach from both players, 2 TCs for the Sicilian player and 3 for the British player, and you already have 13, 14 villagers lead for Vietnam. But on the other hand, as I said, if they don't have access to gold, it doesn't really matter. And TaToH has 21 crossbows. He has done a masterful job keeping those alive. You can see that he only has 7 on food. So he's barely able to keep producing villagers. You need 6 to produce vills. He's like pretty much going all in crossbows, because what they're hoping in is that they want to secure the middle and then make sure that, you know, they're just able to keep away the opponent from the middle. So they're going to play defensive over here. Viper goes for stable number 3. This is looking really, really good now for Viper and TaToH, because yes, the eco is much better for ACM and Say My Name, but it's 44 army against 18, and if this was just eco on Arabia, I would maybe say, okay, this could be good for ACM and Say My Name because they will have great eco, but on a map that is so much reliant on the gold in the middle, this is very troublesome for ACM and Say My Name. Their numbers are very, very low right now. Viper now with +2 defense on those knights. Still no +2 defense for Say My Name. So he went for a greedy approach, as I mentioned. He went for a second TC and Boso first. And it looks like we'll have a couple of crossbows coming in for ACCM. On the right side, they deleted the house so that they can actually bring in those crossbows. That's 14 crossbows for the Britain player. And 27 for TaToH. TaToH is doing an excellent job, by the way, with the Turkish crossbows. I also love, as I said, how he stonewalled the right side. He secures this gold for himself, and he already secured the corner for a trade, if it's ever needed. I'm completely potato talking about the trade, by the way, because on this map you will never trade. Like, on this map you should never ever trade, unless all the gold is gone from the middle. But I still highlighted that. So we're gonna have the Knights now from Viper pushing into the base of ACM, and ACM as a whole. ACM as a whole here, instead of a gate, he just opened up his walls. Nice quick wall from him, keeping Viper's Knights around. But now, Gamerlegion is behind by 30 villagers, wonderful. But you have to consider that they will have gold soon, and ACM and Say My Name won't. ACM and Say My Name will actually have to... Like, they would have to be super proactive to have a good chance at this game. So, do the Turkish crossbows work long term? Absolutely not. At some point, TaToH's gonna have to switch to Cav Archers, and we're pretty much waiting for that Cav Archer switch. Maybe if he loses all these crossbows, he will. It's tricky because I think they don't want to drag this out until Imperial. This is a good fight. It's a very, very good fight for Vietnam. They actually annihilate all the crossbows from TaToH, but Viper's Knights are still alive, and the same fate could be there for ACCM, and that's the deal. This is basically an even trade now, but an even trade isn't enough for Vietnam, because if you look at the military numbers, TaToH still has more. The problem is that, or, well, not the problem, but the thing is for TaToH that he can't necessarily switch to Cav Archers too early. Because if he has trouble with the Cav Archer switch, like missing Thumb Ring, not having good Cav Archer numbers, then they will just get overrun and the opponent will have secure foothold. I think this is more about just pumping out as many crossbows as I can, and only switching to Cav Archers if it's really needed, because the idea would be to win this game by starving the opponent out of gold. Speaking of starving the opponent out of gold, we have a big blob of Knights from Viper pushing in at the back of Say My Name's base. Say My Name will take this fight now, has +2 defense. Viper, however, +1/+2 in there for him. It's 67 army against 19 man. Viper and TaToH are both playing, well, TaToH is at 2 TCs, but he's at 6 villagers on food, so it's not like he's producing from both TCs consistently. This is almost an equivalent of 1 TC on, but look at Viper's Flood, man. 37 Knights against just 10. That is absolutely crazy, and that's enough Knights to just jump on a town center. And that's probably what we're going to see here from Viper. He's bringing in the boys, the crossbows will be there to help. And the critical mass of Knights from Viper has been achieved. He could even grab +2 attack if he wanted to. Has a couple of monks to heal up his Knights. Gamerlegion is looking really strong, man. And they want to win this group with... Look at Viper, he's even converting 2 Knights here, and he will get 2 conversions. First TC goes down just now. Say My Name is going to die. Because, yes, they have the eco lead by 40, but they will have to do a mass migration right now. And even though there's a couple of crossbows launching counterattack, it's 43 crossbows from TaToH compared to 26 from ACCM. In every measurable military statistic, Gamerlegion is ahead, and this just shows how much effort you have to put on aggressive plays on this map. You can't just go for... You may not even want to go for a second town center, just go flood out your units, really. So we're gonna have all the crossbows from Say My Name going down. Viper is still at 37, and I mean, Say My Name is not getting annihilated. The eco, by the way, from ACCM is crazy. Look at that. What is ACCM booming for? He's at 112 villagers, man. That is why they're leading in villager count. Say My Name is getting destroyed. He's down to 24 villagers. But ACCM is, for whatever reason, 120 villagers. Say My Name might actually go defeated here, by the way. He's at 21 villagers, and he's going to lose like 10 more here. This game is Omega over, I believe, because, yeah, ACCM has insane eco, but like his only shot would be to get like Imperial Age. Really. If he would be Imp, this would be doable for him, because our blasts, especially with the 10 range, would melt the cavalry and they would melt the crossbows, and I think that's the reason why they're not GGing. But without Imperial, this is not gonna work. And the problem is that if that Imp doesn't come in a moment, ACCM is going to lose all his army, and it won't matter. In fact, it probably won't matter already. So, Say My Name is down to 16 villagers. The only hope for Vietnam would have been to ACCM being an Imp and snowballing this one with Arbs. Like, Arbalest melting the Knights, picking off the crossbows from a distance, securing a forward castle and pushing off GL from the middle would have been their only shot, but that was just a distant dream. GL looking really, really, really sharp. And with that, they secure game number 2 as well. A very convincing game. overall from GL and very convincing performance so far from them. Viper 2.71 KD, just kept flooding knights, and the pressure that he applied to the opponent's base, I think, speak for itself. So, Say My Name actually lost 64 villagers, never killed one. Viper with 48 villagers killed 0 lost. So, with that, GLA takes game number 2 as well. And match point. If Gamerlegion wins, they're in the quarterfinals, and Vietnam A will be going back to the decider game. So, we will go to Team Acropolis. I did mention that I don't necessarily like the map picks for Vietnam. I just feel like these maps against Gamerlegion are hard. Eruption, Team Acropolis, these are not easy maps to play against so good players like Viper and TaToH. I feel like maps like maybe Forest Pond or Regicide Fortress could have been a little bit more legitimate. So, with that, I believe we can go for game number 3 over here. So we're gonna have Team Acropolis coming in here, the final home map of Vietnam. They're not out of the tournament if they lose, but they will have to play a decider set to decide who is going to be the second place in the group A. We will have Gamerlegion A with an interesting combination of civilizations, Khmer for Viper in yellow, and TaToH playing with Indians in red. Right side we will have Koreans for ACCM in blue, and Saracens for Say My Name in green. This is an interesting setup, so let's talk about the Gamerlegion civs here first. Indians and Khmer are both traditionally cavalry civs. And technically they can both play cavalry civ, but they can both play archer civ. Khmer arbalests aren't that bad, or Khmer can just play crossbows. Although I would think that I prefer Khmer going cavalry and Indians going for cav archers then. That feels a little bit more legitimate, but the versatility is definitely on the side of Viper and TaToH. These are somewhat mismatched civilizations, I would say, but still, either like camel play and then arbalest from Viper, or the alternative is that TaToH is the one playing archer civ and then Viper is gonna go cavalry. So they have their options to mix and match their civs. Other side is also interesting. We got a civ that is most likely a fast castle war wagon civ here for ACCM with Koreans. Finds a beautiful lumber camp spot, man. That's an absolutely feels good, man, type of a lumber camp. And I feel like the Saracen play is going to be for a forward archer range, trying to get through the walls type of a play. And it could work. The idea here is that Say My Name will try to harass Viper and TaToH with archers, and that allows ACCM to go up into Castle Age, go for war wagons. But here's the deal. War wagons will struggle quite badly against Indian camels, and I feel like this is why the Indian player has to go for camels, and Viper... this is tricky. I could think that Viper could go scouts to make sure that he defends TaToH, and TaToH could FC into camos. And if he does that, he should have a good answer to the war wagons. So, for now, Viper is going to use the Khmer bonus. Look at that, dropping a house close to the wood line. One of the reasons why I love to have the Khmer on this map. I believe that the house and being able to jump inside can help immensely. So this is a very, very good wood line for Viper, who's also 4 on wood. And this is what I was talking about. Finally, Viper is the first player that does this. Who else but Viper? If you have watched the map review video I actually had, I told you there that there's extra boars down here. And if you're willing to take the risk, then you can actually get some extra food eco, and that's exactly what Viper is doing. You see that he lured in a boar all the way out from here, using the scout to block it, and he will have 3 boars this way. I was counting on players actually trying to go for that, and I think this is the first time we're seeing this one from any team. Who else but Viper doing this? We'll have the boar coming in right now for Say My Name, going for some early wars in this one. Also some deer push coming in for Say My Name. We will have, what is this from TaToH? What is TaToH up to? He's moving out over here to another wood line, most likely. So, we will have deer push coming in here for TaToH as well. This is just looking so good so far for Gamerlegion when it comes to a start. ACM is lurking around the opponent's base over here, not really doing much. Viper brings in the second board, and he still has a third board to work with. Other side, we'll have Wars coming in here for Say My Name. He definitely did a good job pushing in all those deer, which will help his eco quite a bit. Interestingly, Say My Name... Okay, there is the feudal age. That's going to be a 21 pop, Saracen Archer feudal most likely. Whereas, no surprise, I believe, to see that ACCM is actually going for Loom. That's a surprise. By the way, I would like to... I don't like doing this because, you know, this recording goes to YouTube as well, but I would like to give a quick shout out to and a big thank you for everybody for, you know, supporting the channel with follows whatsoever. We have reached 7,777 followers on Twitch. That's a new milestone. We had 6666, then 6969, now 7,777 is the new one. Alright, so let's go back to the game. Viper will be playing with 10 on wood. This feels like just a straight scouts build from Viper. Without a barracks, he will just be playing with standard scouts. Whereas for TaToH, it looks like he will also be going for an aggressive fuel age here. Will be coming in with most likely scouts as well. Okay, Viper is going archers. With all those Voyager count, yeah, 22 pop, especially with free boars, that is supposed to be an archer build from Viper. The reason why I was surprised is because if you go archers, 10 on wood feels a little bit too low. Apparently Captrade just having some issues with the game chat, don't worry about that. ACCM didn't say eruption right now. So, we're gonna have scouts for TaToH. I think that's the better play to do it, because, as I said, I think camels will be needed to deal with the war wagons. Other side, though, we will have... what is this? This is an archer build from ACCM. Interesting. Viper TaToH coming in to take a shot, and once again, the Arabia PTSD could come in here for ACCM and Say My Name. Say My Name got his barracks denied on Arabia, and the same thing is gonna happen. Viper and TaToH team up, they're a scout, and once again delay the stable of the Saracen player, and I feel like I just don't like this build from ACM and Say My Name. I mean, Saracen cavalry... I like the Korean archers better than the Khmer archers, but Saracen cavalry over Indians feels very underwhelming, although if it turns into a camel war, Saracen camels are actually better than Indian camels are, so it could be interesting to look at, but I feel like the Saracen eco is just so weak. So, with that, we'll have scouts coming in for a Say My Name, but that stable was delayed, the villager was picked on it. Viper coming in with 2 forward archer ranges. He had to wall his villagers in to make sure they don't die to the scout, and ACM is really looking for a counter villager pick for now. We will have TaToH with a safe woodline. He's got a spearman. He actually took... Oh, this is smart from TaToH. Question to viewers. Do you know what TaToH did with this board here? Because I know. Think about it. I'm going to tell you in a minute. So, while we have a bit of a scout scuffle, I'm going to explain it. So, every resource drop-off building, including lumber camps, mining camps, when they are constructed by villagers, so when the construction finishes, they are able to take all resources as a drop-off point for a moment. So, what TaToH did, he sent out the villagers to build a lumber camp here, but before that, he actually took the boar. He gathered like 30 food on all of these villagers, and when you drop that lumber camp, as I said, it acts as a one-time drop-off point for all resources that the villagers carry. That applies to food as well. So, that way, TaToH was able to get like 200-300 food from that boar, and drop it off at the lumber camp when the lumber camp was finished. That's a very cool little trick. I also didn't know about that for a long time. Nilly Coaching was the one that actually told me this, that every drop-off building in this game, including mills, lumber camps, mining camps, acts as a single-time drop-off to all resources when they are finished with the construction. So now Viper is coming in with the Khmer farming. Obviously, that's going to give a big boost to him. He's playing archers, but he also has horse color over here. Doc as well. Unsure about Doc. What you can do with Docs is, as we are going to have the archers being picked off here by Say My Name Scouts. That's a nice one. So one thing that you can do with the Docs is that you can kill a huntable, get her like 30 food on your villager, and then drop it off at a dock by sending your villager to a shorefish, because the game doesn't distinguish between food and food. So if you have like 30 food in the hands of your villagers from hunt, you send it to a shorefish, the villager will think that it is having his hands full, and it will go and drop off all the food that it is carrying at a dock. So that's a cool trick as well. Anyways, we have some raiding over here from Say My Name, but he wasn't able to find the villagers. That's the big deal. Viper didn't lose a single villager. Say My Name is the only player that lost a villager. That was the early villager that was picked off on these stables. Now here's the deal. That's a nice move with ACCM moving into the archers. Korean archers also have the extra pierce armor immediately, so these are better archers than the ones from Viper. Say My Name, still looking for some villager picks, but that seems like it's not really going to happen. Also going for some massive eco-balancing with the Saracen market. You see that he sold his stone to potentially go up faster than his opponent. And behind this one, Viper getting a market up. He probably will try to sell some resources because his food count is looking crazy, but his gold count is a little low, so he will probably try to sell some food to click up to Castle Age here. Viper and TaToH trying to poke and probe around the base of ACM and Say My Name. TaToH leading the way with scouts. The wars are complete for ACM and Say My Name, and Viper only has a couple of archers behind at the back of the opponent's hill. Say My Name is still running around with the scouts, but he wasn't able to find anything here, and with a bit of a market usage, Viper should be able to click up to Castle Age in a moment. Soon followed by Say My Name, ACCM, and last player should be TaToH to click up. And now the scouts will jump on top of that spearman. This is the first time that Viper could lose a villager. In fact, indeed, the quick wars will fail. And now it is an absolutely even villager KD. One villager killed by Viper on Say My Name, and Say My Name also yoinked one from Viper. So Castle Age coming in for everybody right now. As I said, I massively prefer the Korean archers over the Khmer archers. On the other hand, I feel like the Saracen cavalry is a little bit underwhelming compared to the Indians. It has to be camel mirrors in this case, because the Saracens shouldn't go for their own knights when they don't have anything that they can upgrade it to in Imperial. They don't even have Cavalier. But more importantly, the opponent can only make camels, so making knights here feels disappointing. So Say My Name is still poking and probing with those scouts. He doesn't have a single upgrade on them. Bloodlines is just now coming in, and the Viper should be able to finish those off. Nice trap over there by the Viper. Picks off one scout. And for now, Say My Name will keep running around, but I don't think that he will be able to kill a lot more. So, 20 archers right now for ACCM, and he will have +2 defense immediately upon reaching Castle Age, which is a big deal, I would say. The gate here is fairly weak, and TaToH might actually be able to get inside. Worth pointing out that the Indian cavalry or Indian scouts do have the extra pierce armor at this stage of the game, which is a massive advantage. So, they are actually fairly decent at picking off archers early on. Revolt behind by Say My Name to prevent the scouts from breaking in. Castle Age for Say My Name, and the moment of truth is indeed camels. So, Saracen camels are stronger than Indian camels because they have more HP. But the lack of pierce armor makes them more exposed to archer fire. So, when it comes to Saracens using camels in 2v2s like this, the archer player has to make sure that the opponent doesn't have good archer numbers, and TaToH actually goes for light cav. That's an interesting decision, but not necessarily bad, because Indian light cav will have very, very good pierce armor, and they will be able to destroy crossbows very, very easily. On the other hand, I think I like camo crossbow more than light cav crossbow. They do not need a castle for HP though. That is a difference. That was a balance change that was implemented recently. So you see that these are 130 HP camos instead of 120. Recently, Saracen camos were buffed. They get 10 extra HP that applies, I think, to Mamelukes as well. I think basically what happened is that they reduced the effect of Zealotry in Imperial Age. And some of that was converted into like a passive Civ bonus. So now they have 10 extra HP compared to standard camos in Castle Age. So we're gonna have camos now coming in here for TaToH as well. The light cap here have 5 pierce armor, so these guys aren't messing around by any means. These crossbows, on the other hand, do have ballistics. They do have +2 defense, so those are very well upgraded crossbows. In this case, 2nd and 3rd TC coming in, even 4th one. Look at Say My Name, the big boomer, man. That is just a big boom with Saracen's 4 TC play. And we will have 2 TCs for now for ACCM. He's not mining stones, so War Wagons is not part of the plan for now. TaToH's light caps will loop around and might actually try to intercept some villagers here on the TCs, but that shouldn't really be a thing. Because the TC goes up, the TC here will go up as well. The question is if Say My Name can actually afford to produce villagers on all of those TCs, but one of the things that can help is being able to lure in a boar over here. This bear is definitely causing a hard day for this villager. TaToH, look at this. TaToH killed the villager and lamed the farm in like 5 seconds. In a blink of an eye, Say My Name loses 2 villagers and the farm. That was a beautiful move from TaToH. And cleaning up those light cap with the town center is hard because they have 5 pierce armor, so they resist arrow fire very, very nicely. Still, here come the camos from Say My Name, and TaToH could also be losing a couple of villagers. Here comes the first one being picked up, the second one jumps into the TC for the time being. TaToH will be playing on 2 TCs, 2 TCs is the name of the game as well for the Snake. Other side, we still have the light cap from TaToH running around. Might actually find a couple more villager picks here close to the TC. Reaction is nice from Say My Name, jumping into the TC. Villager count, slightly better for Vietnam, and this is the first time that I feel that they are actually a little bit more convincing. If I just look at their gameplay, their eco seems to be slightly more powerful, and that could soon change if TaToH finds a couple of villagers over here. This is not something that ACCM expected. Loses 1, loses 2 most likely. +2 defense just now coming in for Say My Name. So his camos are still very exposed to archer fire. TaToH already has the extra pierce armor, but it's only 1 pierce armor. So it's basically 10 extra HP over 1 extra pierce armor. I think the 1 extra pierce armor is better against archers, but when it comes to camo versus camo fight, obviously the extra HP helps. So this is fairly even in terms of that. 38 crossbows for Viper, 40 for ACCM, but ACCM does have +2 defense as well on them. Say My Name is missing the Castle Age eco upgrades. He's actually on 4 TCs, but he doesn't actually have the eco upgrade, so I'm not sure how much he has an eco advantage. In fact, he's only at 59 villagers, which is not really impressive. So, with that, we are gonna have the camos being picked up. I think this is a better fight for ACCM, and Say My Name, we're gonna have most of the camos from TaToH going down, and this is the moment where you probably just want to withdraw your camos if you're Say My Name, because you want your blue player to clean this one up, and that is a very, very good fight for Vietnam. Suddenly they have 54 army compared to 35. The eco is actually fairly comparable. Viper is on 3 TCs with Khmer farming. TaToH will be playing on 4 TCs as well. We'll have 3 TC play from ACCM in blue, and 4 for Say My Name, but I am not so sure how consistent the will production is for Say My Name. Still, this is the moment to shine for ACCM and Say My Name because they have a big military advantage right now. You can see this is the problem that I'm having with Say My Name's 4 TC build. 100 or 12 minutes of TC idle time as compared to Viper and TaToH. It's better to have 3 TCs with 1 minute idle time than 4 with 12. Obviously, that is a summarized or combined idle time. Nice find over there from TaToH or Viper picking off 2 villagers on the wood line. So that's not still that big of a deal for Say My Name, but his 4 TC boom is sort of not really showing. As you see, compared to Viper and TaToH, he's not ahead by any villagers or so. So a couple of crossbows poking around as well, take down 1 villager from Viper, but this is big though, and Indian camos, that's a big difference between Saracen and Indian camos. Saracen camos don't have building attack bonus, Indian camos do, so TaToH definitely has the option to force fights beneath town centers, and it looks like, once again, ACM and Seimanen want to jump on the opponent's army, but I'm not sure if this is worth it for them. They picked off a couple of crossbows, and now they leave with a couple of camels killed as well, but I'm not necessarily a big fan of that fight. Viper grabbing +2 defense for himself as well, so now those crossbows are dead even in combat. We still have a big fight coming in here, though, and Viper and TaToH back to huge military numbers, especially the camo numbers for TaToH are crazy. 27 camos compared to 15. And that means that suddenly TaToH starts to overrun the opponent with camos. And I believe that TaToH might be producing on 3 stables, but I'm wrong. It's just a very consistent 2 stable production. The opponent is also on 2 TCs, or 2 stables. Still, as I said, camo versus camo. Seimanen's camos will be beating the opponent's camos over here very, very easily. There's also +2/+2 for Seimanen. TaToH is missing any attack upgrades. So this is still a better fight when it comes to camo versus camo for Seimanen, and they have to be happy to take that. Viper behind this one, though, using the power of the Khmer farming, he will actually go into Imperial. And that would be Arbalest from him. Khmer Arbalest is a very underrated unit. It is perfectly fine. It's not amazing, but you have a strong eco and you have Arbalest, and that's exactly what Viper is going to try and leverage. The first player to Imperial will be Viper, and especially when there is no knights on the field, just camos, as your big sandwich over here. Look at this. There's the tomato, there's the lettuce, and that blue thing is probably just mold in the middle of this sandwich, as Vietnam is getting absolutely annihilated here in the middle. Down to 14 camos, TaToH still has a 28. And the crossbow numbers are comparable as well, but Viper is going into Imperial. We are gonna have a castle coming in here for ACCM in blue. He will try to go for war wagons, but I feel like the problem is that neither of them are close to Imperial. And Viper will just get to Arbalest, and what I wanted to say before the fight actually started, as we have a defensive castle that might go denied here from Seimanen, is that when there is no knights on the field, just camos, it's even easier for the Arbalest to just finish off games, because there's absolutely nothing that can stop Arbalests. Camos with 2 pierce armor just absolutely melt to Arbalest, and the ACCM trying to buy himself up as well, but he's gonna be like 1.5 minutes behind, and these are Indian camos, so they will actually melt buildings really fast here. Vultures did go down, and the thing is that Seimanen will not be able to take that fight. Seimanen has to lead that castle whenever possible. For now, he's busy chasing down Spearman with... Seimanen has to lead this. Seimanen has to delete this. He did. That was a nice one for him. Imperial Age coming in for TaToH though as well, whereas Seimanen is not imping. That's the big problem. Seimanen is nowhere close to imping. The ecos are very, very close, but being later to Imperial for both players on Vietnam might actually lose them the game here. Because if Viper is given 30 more seconds until Arbalest and Bracer, he will just melt everything here. This is exactly why you see that those camos are now jumping on top of this. Viper and TaToH know very well that they need to hold out. They don't even need Arb, they just need Bracer. TaToH bringing in some more camos in here, sheltering his teammates' crossbows from this one. And Viper and TaToH looking really, really good in this one, as Seimanen will also try to click up, but I don't think that they have 2 minutes to hold against this one. Viper is going to bring in Arbalest now. Chemistry is on the way, and this is the moment where you actually start taking those fights. Seimanen and ACCM will try to retreat, and they will have the ability to do so. Both of them are now going into Imperial as well. Castles being dropped on the north, but look at Viper once again. He's everywhere, man. Just appearing with 10 Arbs and picking off 10 Vultures from Seimanen. And if you look at the Vulture KD, once again, Viper killed 11, lost 2. TaToH killed 15, lost 2. Very, very nicely done, and they're just appearing everywhere, and they're just raiding the hell out of their opponents. We will have Stonewalls coming in for TaToH to secure the corner for a trade. So really, once again, the Gamerlegion transition to early trade is showing something that I highlighted in the first game. Arbalest will be in for ACCM's Koreans, and he does have the +4 defense immediately, whereas that's not something that Viper has just yet. He's getting Ring Archer armor in just now. If you get 2 camos with Zealotry, that could be big for Seimanen, but that takes quite a lot of time, and now it looks like TaToH is going to start adding Hussar, but cancels that. Didn't even cancel it, he goes for Heavy Camo. Heavy Camo takes quite a lot of time to upgrade, and the biggest problem for Vietnam will be that by the time Say My Name gets to Imp, TaToH's gonna have heavy camo. And that means that he will actually click into Imp camo before that. Still, that's quite a lot of orbs. And I think that Khmer are missing Thumbring on their archers, if I'm not mistaken. So if these Korean archers or orbs are actually able to take this fight with Thumbring and wait until chemistry, this could still be a good fight. ACCM with... Indeed, ACCM has no bracer. He's got Thumbring, he's got chemistry, but no bracer on ACCM's orbs. Obviously not ideal. Bit of a mismanagement of units here for TaToH. That probably was a misclick from TaToH, because that's a disaster. He lost like 15-20 camos. Definitely not ideal for TaToH. That was probably misclick, because nothing justified sending in camos alone like that. And honestly, even though Viper is now shelling these castles on the right side, we have to keep in mind that the Korean orbs will be better than the Khmer orbs, and Zelo 3 and Heavy Camel is coming in as well for Say My Name. Say My Name might actually be able to take down these Trebs. Castle coming in here for TaToH. Still map control is limited for our cold color team. +4 defense just now coming in for Say My Name's camos. He has to at least snipe down 1 or 2 Trebs, but he will be able to, and he saves the castle, I believe, which is extremely important as this stage. Gamerlegion still having a great map control in this one. So we could actually see the rare matchup of Zelo 3 camos versus Imperial camos, and I think Zelo 3 camos win that by a narrow margin. It's a very, very small margin. One of the beautiful things about Zelo 3 camos, though, is that once you get Heavy Camo in, Zelo 3 is already in for Say My Name, so it's not like you have to get Heavy Camo and then Imp Camo. You can actually start researching the 2 techs at the same time, and that helps quite a bit getting to those good numbers. So we're gonna have a big ARP fight over here. Remember, Viper doesn't have Thumbring on those ARBs, but it is 51 ARBs against 49. This is actually supposed to be a good fight. ACCM is missing Bracer still. ACCM is missing Bracer. What a mistake from him at this point. I am fairly certain that he believes he clicked Bracer. There's no way. Nothing justifies. He went for chemistry. So he probably thinks that he has Bracer, but that's not the case, as we're going to have towers coming in here. Upsong is not in just yet for those towers. Viper and TaToH's army are getting cleaned up here on the left side. It is 91 army against 47. This is the moment of truth for ACCM and Say My Name. We will have Sultans coming in for TaToH for all the extra gold income. ACM and Say My Name also stonewalling off the north to establish trade. They're already getting the markets up. Gamerlegion already is setting up trade. They have 21 trade cards by now, so they actually had an earlier transition to trade as well. Still no Bracer for ACCM. Still no Bracer. And that could lose them the game here. Heavy Scorpion coming in here for Viper. Do not underestimate the power of the Khmer Scorpions. And, I mean, ACCM is getting Siege Engineers in. ACCM has chemistry. There is no way that it is intentional that he's skipping Bracer. It's just a mistake. He probably, you know, it's a fast game. You select the blacksmith, you tap the hotkey for that, and you don't even see it being researched. Fortified wall coming in here for ACCM, but here's TaToH's light cav trying to deny and delay the trade, which could be extremely important because the walls are not up. Trebs are shelling Viper's castle. He has double crossbow in. Another castle comes in here for TaToH. And coinage, banking, stone chef mining, and fortified wall for ACCM, but still no Bracer, man. Still no Bracer. Light cav now from the Indians coming in here for raiding. Still, just a couple of camos. This patch should be able to clean this one up, but this delays the trade of ACM and Say My Name, who will have issues controlling gold. You see that Gamerlegion already has 28 trade cards, and GL is very, very good when it comes to transitioning to trade cards. Look at this Squires, Halberdier, Bracer, finally. I think he just realized that, oh shoot, I'm missing Bracer. Still, this is actually a nice one, cleaning up all the light cavs. And if the walls are up for ACM and Say My Name, they should have the advantage in terms of composition, but you gotta be real careful, because as Deathmatch World Cup is coming in, we have to get used to more and more of those Scorpion blobs from Viper, because those guys absolutely melt orbs. Now, however, there is no answer from Gamerlegion to camos. Or is there? Or is there an answer? Did you see those Scorpions just absolutely melting those camos? We have traps coming in here from Say My Name, taking down this castle. By far the best game in the set so far, because TaToH is going to probably lose that castle over there. Military numbers are very close. Eco is better for GL, but ACM and Say My Name still have no trade going for them, which is important. Viper actually getting a sneaky archer range in here. Look at Viper, man. Viper got a sneaky archer range in here so he can keep harassing the trade as much as possible. As TaToH tries to dive in, snipe the Trebs here with the light cav, and you see that gold is running out now for ACM and Say My Name because we're seeing more and more light cav being added by ACM, and this is the good play, I think, from ACCM. Go for towers at Upsong. One way to counter the... Oh no, ACCM! Oh my god, that could be a game-deciding fight. That could be a game-deciding fight. Scorpion just annihilating everything, and really... I think I just froze Capture Rage. No worries. We'll actually... Oh, okay, we're good. We're good. I want to rewind this, though. Because this is exactly... Like, this is why it's so hard to fight against Khmer Scorpions. They just got absolutely annihilated. That's like minus 20 orbs. And in this very moment, I just wanted to say that if you get Upsong for your keeps, those keeps will just take down the Scorpions. The best way to deal with those Scorpions is just camp with your Arbs, go Bombard Cannon, and go for keep with Upsong. They don't have Upsong just yet. Trebs will now be taken down by TaToH here on the right side. And remember that there is no reasonable gold income soon for ACM and Say My Name. They have 18, 19 trade cards combined as opposed to 50. TaToH coming in with the raid, and there is not enough camos to deal with all the raids now. Oh my. Oh my, oh my. And now Viper brings in the Siege Ram. Imperial Camo now teched into by TaToH, so now that he has a reliable gold income, he will actually go for Imp Camo. There is Upsong for the towers of ACCM, but it comes too late because now there is Siege Ram. And Say My Name, he has got camos, but he's busy cleaning up all the raids that are happening inside their eco. It seems like things are falling apart for Vietnam, and part of that was all those ARBs getting annihilated. The fact that ACCM is at 24 ARBs instead of like 50 ARBs is attributed to the fact that we have a lot of Scorpions and Bombard Cannons marching up as well for a TaToH. And once again, the Scorpions just absolutely annihilate those ARBs. They are dangerous, man. 9-range Scorpions are no joke. And TaToH behind this one, doing what he does the best, I just spams the light cav into the opponent's economy. Now it's Imp Camos as well, Bracer in as well. For TaToH, I wonder why, because he doesn't really need Bracer immediately. Maybe he needs it for the castles. There is some light cav raids coming in here for Say My Name inside the trade of GL. TaToH could just send a couple of Imp Camos to clean that one up though, but look at this death blob. And it very much seems like Gamerlegion is going to secure 3-0 here, sending ACCM and Say My Name back to the decider game to a rematch versus Nilly and Jordan. That would be an interesting set, because that was a very, very close set. Viper and TaToH looking extremely sharp, and I feel like when we get to a single elimination stage, so quarterfinals, when you have teams like Yoendlix, Suomi, AM, Tempo, this Gamerlegion team, and many others, it's going to be an extremely entertaining quarterfinals, I would say, and we're looking for some more super competitive games, because I think the top 4 or 5 teams here are looking extremely strong in this tournament. And at this point, it's just a matter of time, I believe, because I don't see ACM and Say My Name stopping this one. Like, they're trying to make towers here, but I mean, they're losing the towers faster than they're actually killing the Siege Rams. And TaToH now overrunning the right side as well, coming in with Rams. He's actually getting the Imp Camos in to... There is still some camos on the field, but we have Viper with the Arbs picking them off, and 0-3 camos, these 0-3 camos that they only have 4 Pierce armor, so Arbs actually do a decent job picking them off. Upsong towers actually do outrange Bombard Cannons, or at least have an even range to them if the Bombard Cannons have Siege Engineers, but it's 99 army against a 23, and it seemed like ACCM and Say My Name didn't play bad, but they have just been outclassed by Gamerlegion by a massive margin, and ACCM and Say My Name will call the GG, moving back to the decider game, and Gamerlegion A will go into the quarterfinals. The very, very convincing set. Overall, I believe that Gamerlegion A has shown why they are actually considered one of the favorites of this tournament, but there's so many well-performing teams so far. It's going to be an absolute blast to see GL, Tempo, Suomi, AM, Heresy in the quarterfinals. Not all hope is lost for ACM and Say My Name, though. They will actually match up against Nilly and Jordan in the decider game, a rematch of the first round series that was very, very close in between the two teams. And Gamerlegion A now edging out victory. I think one of the things that I really want to praise for Gamerlegion in this entire set is the ability to switch into trade early on. So look at this trade profit in comparison to the opponent, and that was the same thing on Arabia. Viper and TaToH are just so proficient at switching into trade earlier than many other teams. And that helps them have a much cleaner transition to a late Imperial or like a mid Imperial play, because they will never start for gold. And that was game number 3 of this best of 5. And with that, Gamerlegion A moves into the quarterfinals, ACM and Say My Name, going into the decider game next Saturday.